What's up, guys? CTP here, and on this episode of the BS Interrogation series, we're going to play back the audio recording of a recent live Q&A we did with you guys. You had a ton of questions. Mike, Chris, and Doug sat down and rapid-fired answered a whole bunch of them. We do these kind of live Q&A type things all the time, and if you're on our newsletter list, you'll be aware of them. If you're not currently on our newsletter list, make sure you pop over to barbellshrugged.com and sign up, and you'll be notified anytime we do cool things like this. But for now, I think this audio started mid-question, but you'll be able to figure it out, so enjoy.
CrossFit Games. Yeah, it's written for somebody who is CrossFit Games bound. A lot of blogs are for, the idea is to be for CrossFit bound athletes or CrossFit Games bound athletes and people that have those aspirations. But the OPT function workouts are the only ones that I'm familiar with that program specifically for people who are just trying to be healthier.
Yeah, if you're a beginner and you try to do an intermediate to advanced blog, you're going to have a really terrible time, right? I mean, there is some time you have to spend cultivating these basic adaptations and taking your time. And that's probably, I can't think of anyone better than that. I mean, Max certainly knows more than just about anybody on these topics.
Yeah, I think Elrod does a good job of programming, but again, I think it's only for people who have already learned the skills of snatch, clean and jerk, have requisite amount of mobility, who also have nailed down muscle-ups and stuff like that. If you don't have those things nailed down, something like the OPT function blog is going to be the best. If you just go to his website, there'll be the workout, I think it's Good Dog Blog is what it is. Every day they've got function, being, will, and she. So they have 4 different workouts. And I actually do think that's probably the best one. You can try to follow our website, factionsc.com, for our regular workouts for that. But again, that's being written by our coach who is watching our members and knows what equipment we have and all that kind of stuff. So I do think the OPT is the way to go on that one. Hopefully I wasn't too long-winded on that answer, but I wanted you guys to understand why I thought that was the better one to go at.
Question 2.
Man, Doug's going to put this on and not even be here. So at the end of this week's podcast, Paul Nobles mentioned that beta-alanine is a supplement that seems to be perfect for CrossFit-style training. Can you guys talk about how it works, its benefits, how you should use it, and when you should take it, etc., how much? Yeah, actually, Paul was right. Beta-alanine, I think creatine and beta-alanine are both, made for, creatine's made for just about any sport in the whole world and for better brain function even. But the beta-alanine is perfect for CrossFit because it allows you to get those extra reps in. When you would normally fail at 12 reps, it'll let you get to 14. And that is basically what we're doing when we do CrossFit, is we're trying to get more work done, and the less you have to break up your reps, the better. Beta-alanine essentially keeps metabolic acidosis from happening. It keeps, and what I'm talking about is that burn you feel. What's happening is there's more acid in your muscles, and what's happening is it's not allowing the muscle to go through the chemical responses or whatever in order to contract the muscle. So your muscle's actually kind of like shutting down from being able to contract. What it does is it keeps that acidosis from happening so quickly, and so you can contract a couple more times. And that's going to add up over time, and you're going to be able to train at a higher level. As far as how to supplement with it, average dude should probably be taking like 6 grams a day. You probably want to take it throughout the day, 2 grams in the morning, 2 grams before you work out, 2 grams after you work out.
Or else you get shut down with tingliness.
Yeah, tingliness. Yeah, the only reason you need to spread it out is because the insane tingle factor. So it's like creatine. It's going to take 6 to 10 weeks to build up in your system. There's no magical reason to take it right before you train or anything like that. It's just 6 grams a day forever. The same with creatine. It's like 5 grams a day forever.
Real quick, I just want to make sure everyone can still hear us okay with Mike and Chris speaking from across the room. Go and type yes into the box if you can still hear us.
All right, Josh is excited.
Yeah, Josh. Yeah.
We'll answer your question next.
That's right.
A little enthusiasm.
All right, next question. With regard to programming, what are the main changes you make for hard gainer? From Derek.
I have them actually eat enough.
I go along with that. We can all give a piece on this one. Chris, go ahead and share a piece.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that for me, I know my history is I would be the opposite of a hard gainer. If I ate what Bledsoe ate, I'd be back up to 350 pounds plus probably really quickly. I just don't have a problem with that. Metabolically inferior to some of the better athletes, I guess, whatever you want to call it. I guess on the flip side, there are these people who claim that, look, I can't gain weight no matter what I do. It's really tough. And I would agree that it's really, really hard. I always say it's like twice as hard as losing weight. You just sit there and don't eat if you want to lose weight. But if you want to gain weight and put on quality muscle, then you have to eat a lot of quality food. And people say, well, I've tried that. It's sort of like when you hear somebody say, well, I've tried everything to lose weight. And then you see that they're drinking 2 liters of Pepsi a day. Well, in this case, I'd say you're trying really hard, but if you wrote down what you eat compared to somebody who's a hard gainer and is making progress, you might be eating half what that person's eating. Do you eat 2 sweet potatoes and a chunk of meat and train and have a big shake, and before you go to bed you crush a big smoothie? Well, no, I just have a chicken breast and like a half cup of rice. You're not eating enough. I don't care if you're full, you feel full, the calories aren't there to give you enough building material to construct this new building you're trying to put together, which is your new body. And there's just nothing there. This can't physically happen unless you get the surplus in. So I'd say the first thing is having an outside eye, somebody who's experienced, one of us or anybody, to look at your log and say, okay, yeah, you think you're eating a lot, but in actuality, this is just not a lot of calories.
All right, Mike.
Let's see. From a programming perspective, I think Chris is right on the nutrition side of things.
Yeah, that was nutrition response.
A lot of times people, I agree wholeheartedly. That's one reason we started the 6-month muscle gain challenge, is because I've been a hard gainer my whole life. A lot of you may not think that. But because you're so huge, because I'm so jacked. But no, I mean, when I graduated high school,
thank you, Matt.
Just extra smoking T-shirts. Don't let it fool you. It's all smoke and mirrors. But when I graduated high school, I was like 135, 140 pounds, and I had to eat my way up to where I am now. But I think a lot of guys, we started a 6-month muscle gain program because people aren't willing to go gain weight long enough. They plan to gain weight for 2-3 months and they want to lean back out. Gain weight for 2-3 months, lean back out.
Everybody's so fucking paranoid about gaining fat.
Right. Yeah.
It's like when you hear a woman say, "Well, I want to get stronger and lift weights and all that and do CrossFit. I don't want to get big." As if you just fucking touched a barbell and got progress out of just the act of being there.
Yeah.
As if it didn't take a whole lot of cumulative effort to make that happen.
So you got to pick. I think 6 months is a good amount of time to put on a fair amount of weight so that you can maintain some muscle gain. From a programming perspective, I think a lot of guys are either weak or they're not doing enough hypertrophy training. So I've seen it happen both ways. You got guys that have been doing the 5 sets of 10 and the bodybuilder protocol. They're doing 4 different exercises, 5 sets of 10, just totally blowing it up. Pecs and triceps. The next day back and buys, and then squats and deads and machines.
You're being generous in saying this stuff.
And I think that's a good way to train to put on size. But then on the flip side, if you're weak and you're doing that, then you may not be strong enough to be pushing around enough weight in order to cause that hypertrophy. So I think the best way to put on weight for a lot of guys from a programming perspective is to cycle between strength. So, the 1 to 5 rep range and the 6 to 12 rep range. So to kind of cycle back and forth, because I think people try to accomplish putting on size one way or the other. First, you have to be strong enough to cause hypertrophy, and then second, you have to have enough muscle mass to get stronger. So you don't want to stick doing any one protocol for a long time if you're someone who's considered a hard gainer.
I think efficiency is a big thing. I think people get caught in their mind that they will, I've got to get bigger, so I'll do more of the things that I think will make me bigger. So you have guys wasting a bunch of fucking time doing a bunch of different things for a bunch of different sets and reps. Whereas it's probably the most efficient thing to say, look, 3 days a week, I'm going to do things that load my body like deadlifts and squats, lots of force, lots of cumulative work, big metabolic response, but not a whole lot of time just dicking around and burning calories and wasting time at gyms. Like this efficiency, a lot of impulse to the training. So get in there, move a lot of weight a bunch of times efficiently, and then if it's much more than an hour later, wind down and get the hell out of there and resume eating.
Do your compound exercises first. Your
do
squats, presses, and then go and work on
a few minutes
the muscle, the body parts you want to work on.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to skip my turn on that one and move on to another question just for time's sake. Let's see, Josh says, how can I tell if an athlete has what it takes to be successful in CrossFit? I know there's a lot of variables involved. What are some of the base traits that a guy or girl would like to have to be successful? If you watched the Max episode, we talked a little bit about the different animals, and good CrossFitters tend to be the buffalo. They're very strong and they have a lot of endurance. They can kind of just go at a moderate pace for a very long time, which in CrossFit, a lot of times that's really what you need. If you're going to grind through a 10-minute workout, you're really not ever at a full-speed sprint, but you might need to be able to do 350-pound deadlifts, one deadlift, 5-second break, one deadlift, 5-second break. And you might need to be able to do that for 3 minutes if the WOD calls for it. And so the Buffalo body type really helps with that. Very strong, but you have good endurance at moderate weights at the same time. You're not necessarily an overly fast and explosive athlete, but you're strong with good endurance. Maybe the really light, long distance endurance stuff, like running a 10K isn't your specialty, but you have endurance in those kind of those moderate rep ranges and those moderate weights. For 200 to 300 pounds, you can just kind of hammer through, and it doesn't beat you up that bad, and you can come back 5 hours later and do it again. So if you have an athlete that can tolerate that beating, so to speak, and then he can come back and he feels totally fine, he's not wrecked for a couple days, then that's a good athlete to eventually probably go to regionals, maybe even compete in the games.
Yeah, I'd add it. You have to be really tough to be able to get up the ladder and compete at that regional level. I mean, it just takes being able to embrace the act of suffering to be able to endure that, no matter what physical tools you have. Because like McGoldrick is a good example of a guy who's physically, he's made the games, he's reached what he's been working for, but physically I wouldn't call him the most amazingly gifted guy, but he's exceptionally tough, he embraces the suffering, and he's the kind of guy who doesn't think twice about turning his whole life over to his pursuit. So for how many years now has that guy skipped out on social things and rearranged his career and his personal life and everything in order to facilitate long durations of sleep, to get the food he needs when he needs it and the train when he needs it. Everything else in his life moved around to accommodate that. So if you don't have that kind of dedication, you don't think that's within your ability, then you're not gonna be able to do this.
Yeah, I think the willingness to recover is something that most people don't consider. And McGoldrick has that. He is willing to sleep
this
for
is
10 hours and
sit around.
Yeah.
Just don't go home and sit in the chair. Like, I'm recovered now because I'm not training. Yeah, he probably exerts as much work fucking trying to recover and eat as he does training.
He does. He spends a lot of times prepping his meals, making sure that he has enough high-quality food at all times. He spends as much time cooking as he does training almost.
Yeah, so if you're going to do that and you're going to sleep 10 hours a night, guess what? You're not going out to the bar, ever.
Yeah, that's a full-time job for him.
There's a lot of guys, I see some guys at high level that do have some mobility issues, but I also see some guys that they may appear at first glance to be amazing athletes. They can run and come in and deadlift forever and all that kind of stuff, and then you throw them under an overhead squat, and they're kyphotic, and their shoulders are internally rotated, and they're fighting just to get a barbell overhead and a decent depth in their squat.
Me. That's me.
Yeah. Well, you also see like a lot of foreign military guys that are in that boat. Too much rucking. They end up all hunched over, and now they can't overhead squat to save their life. They're not just having to lift the weight; they're having to fight against their own mobility. So I think a lot of times it's not like that you're looking for athletes that have enough mobility, but athletes who are willing to really work on improving that mobility. I know a lot of guys that could be, they'd be good at regionals, except for they're never going to invest the time in fixing their shoulders and ankles and hips. So they got to, sometimes I used to see a guy that come in and be like, oh shit, we can like turn him into something, and then he'll show up and train his balls off, but he fucking won't go home and stretch. And
that's a lot of work when it's not something you want to do.
Yeah, stretching's right there at recovery. It's harder to do than training, in my opinion.
And people say, I've got shoulders that are limiting me in snatch or ankle mobility issues. And I have some of that, and we all have dealt with that. They go, what can I do to fix it? You start by saying, okay, well, what are you doing for mobility work? Well, I stretch. Are you spending an hour a night, an hour before training, doing these dedicated drills that feel like a workout in themselves? Are you measuring your progress? Are you trying to get better? Are you driving this improvement in mobility? Or are you just coming in and fucking stretching with a band in 5 minutes and go, yeah, okay, I've stretched that thing.
Yeah.
Check the box.
I think
that doesn't work. It's like if you come to the gym and go, okay, I'm going to do 5 to 5 because that makes you strong. And you go, yeah, did that. Magically stronger now. Well, no, did you fucking slave under the barbell till you thought you were going to fucking die? And then go home and collapse on the floor because you got nothing else to give to your life that day? That's how you make improvements.
I think you made a good point that a lot of people want to come in and measure their fitness by how much they improve their friend, but how many people are measuring the range of motion of their external rotation of the shoulder, or their T-spine rotation, or their ankle mobility, actually measuring that and working towards going from 35% to 45% or something like that. Mobility is something that can be measured and worked towards and find out if you're making progress. Anyways, we're off on a tangent.
We're very off track.
Surprise!
That was a good tangent. That was good.
I'll let you guys off easier than Paul. Do you guys have any recommended resources, books, websites, podcasts for learning more about kinesiology, anatomy, physiology, training, coaching, and other things that will make me a better coach? There's tons of resources out there. Still to this day, it's not CrossFit related necessarily, but I still love to read T Nation. Some of it's good and some of it's not good. You have to have a little bit of a filter to find the good stuff, but I still do like to read T Nation. I still like to read Eric Cressey's stuff whenever he puts stuff out. Tony Gentilcore, Mike Robertson. Mike Boyle doesn't like CrossFit, but he still has a lot of perspective on coaching.
Fuck that guy.
And a lot of CrossFit coaches don't like him, but
I know his opinion.
He does say a lot of very novel things that only make sense after you've been doing this for 15 or 20 or 30 years. It won't make sense after your first year. You'll think he's an asshole, but after 30 years, I think you'll come back and be like, oh, wow, that guy maybe did know what he was talking about. So those are kind of non-CrossFit resources. Eventually, we would like to put out some exercise science and anatomy physiology focused products. We haven't gotten around to that yet. One thing at a time for that. K-Star's new book, Supple Leopard, is very, very good. Also, Brian McKenzie's book, Speed, Power, and Endurance. He lays out the basics for endurance training if that's something that you would like to do. None of it's overly novel or overly complicated. So if you're a person that's brand new to training, he lays it out step by step and makes it very easy to follow. So that's a quality resource. If you're looking for more complex or advanced stuff, a couple of my favorite books in the more advanced world, Muscles, Testing and Functional and Posture and Pain, that's like a classic physical therapy text. A lot of the mobility stuff that we do came originally from that textbook, so that's a great text. Shirley Sarman stuff, if you want to get really deep into the PT world, into the physiology, biomechanics type world and rehabilitation world. She has two great texts. That's it for me. You didn't think I was going to ask you. Mike's going to make a programming product one of these days.
I don't read books.
Yeah, Mike doesn't read books.
Actually,
he read The Great Gatsby in high school.
I think everyone should Google Hagerman, Hagerman. Oh my God, Hagerman and then rowing and .pdf. Google that. It's like 7 pages on like interval training for rowers specifically, but it's applicable to any type of training. So like if you're into like the energy systems and you're trying to find out like how to train different energy systems, it's a good, short, concise guideline on how to do that.
And you also like
the physical therapy woman's name is Shirley Sarman. I'll go grab her book real quick.
Other good resources.
Well,
I stopped reading resources a long time ago because I got bored with it. I did read 8 Weeks Out recently. It was pretty good. It kind of depends on where you're coming from. I don't know. What do you like?
Well, I'm in the same boat where at a certain amount of time, I started realizing that once you get past basic periodization books, which one that came to my mind was that I really like. I think he's wrong about a lot of stuff, especially about American weightlifting, but Ripeto's programming for the intermediate lifter, or whatever, that second book he put out, I thought it's really good. In terms of laying out a rationale as to when you progress to more complicated things, how you organize training. Simple, the starting strength he sells is obviously pretty good. Brought the library. Recently, he brought a library.
I brought a library.
Recently, I think my good friend Dr. Michael Hartman put out an ebook, Fortis. So if you search for drhartman.com, I think it's his website. There was a time when I was going to go off and study for my PhD with Mike, which would have been a good time. It didn't work out, but Mike, I don't think there's anybody any more competent with weightlifting and strength training from back in the world than Dr. Hartman is. He's a great guy. You might have heard his name because he spent a lot of time with Glenn Pinlay at Midwestern in Texas, where they're training down there. I think so. At the university down there, Mike was doing a lot of research into strength training. He was working with the athletes and working with Glenn. If you ever hear Glenn reference Mike, you'll see that he's highly regarded. So I would actually get that book. It's maybe 30 or 50 pages, but very succinct. You can get through it in the evening and learn a lot. He gives a very clear rationale as to why you would pick certain exercises to get stronger in certain movements.
Garrett, I see that you're asking for work on programming a smart mix of barbell work and gymnastics. I actually don't know of any books that do a good job of teaching you how to mix barbell and gymnastics work together. It's something that occurred to me at one point, and I was like, we should write a book, but guess what? I'm terrible at sitting down and actually putting things together.
You can outline a book with the best of them, though.
Doug and I, one night, we outlined the whole book.
This fucking guy, he trying to tell me that, the easy part's, the hard part's done. After fucking outline, now this guy's done it right.
Okay, the outline's the hard part.
Chris is much better at writing than we are.
Yeah, so on the weightlifting side of things, I think one of the best books I ever read is Greg Everett's Olympic Weightlifting.
Yeah, Greg knows his shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
Man, if you want to learn how to teach and how to learn the movements better yourself, there is no better book. Programming, the Bob Takano book, Takano, how do you pronounce his name?
I like it.
Yeah, it's a book. I think it's just called Programming. I like that book. It's pretty good.
Not a very sexy name, but look.
Yeah, but it's to the point.
No more sexy than mine.
Here, I grab a couple books. This is that book, Muscle Testing, Functional Posture and Pain. That's how I got the majority of the mobility stuff that I'm doing. This is that Shirley Sarman book. This is pretty close to muscles as far as how important it is in the physical therapy world right now, especially movement-based physical therapy. Advances in Functional Training, kind of a funny title, but Mike Boyle.
Some of the hottest chicks ever to weightlifting in the United States on the cover.
Yeah. This truly is, though. It really is advances in functional training. This is not a basics type book. If you've been doing this for 10 years, then a lot of this stuff will make sense. If you're brand new to coaching people, then you won't know why it's so good. If you're a beginner and you don't know anything about anatomy and physiology, this is probably the best kinesiology textbook. If you want to learn anatomy and physiology really, really well, this book is phenomenally good. It's crazy good. I've read it more than once. And then finally, Speed, Power, and Endurance, if you haven't seen it.
So smart.
Is Brian McKenzie's book. A lot of basics, a lot of endurance stuff. Cycling and swimming is included in here, which we don't do a whole lot of, but a great resource if you want to learn more about endurance stuff.
And one thing, you're saying being bigger makes it harder to hold a clutch. There's a good website, gymnasticbodies.com. Not gymnastics bodies, but gymnasticbodies.com. Coach Sommer, He wrote a book. I can't remember the name of the book, but you can purchase it on that website. I have it. I read that book, and that actually really helped me out a whole lot in understanding gymnastics better. CrossFit is really good at programming gymnastics conditioning type stuff, but they're not very good. No one programs actually good gymnastics strength stuff, and what you're referring to is, a planche. And so one of the things they'll talk about in that book is how to scale gymnastic strength movements like the planche. One way to do that, and there's a progression. And for instance, the planche, a good way to scale that is just to tuck. And you'll find that for a lot of these things, a lot of these movements in gymnastics, the way to scale is to tuck. You're working on the front lever, tuck. Back lever, tuck. You start making your body smaller, make that lever smaller, shorter, and all of a sudden it gets a little bit easier. And then you can start working on your tuck with a flat back. And then you start easing your knees out there and then extending your legs all the way together. So if you're looking at movements specifically for or books specifically for movements, weightlifting, the best one's the Greg Everett's book on weightlifting. And then for gymnastics, gymnasticbodies.com is really good. And Doug is actually pulling up the book right now.
There we go. So here's gymnasticbodies.com.
I think he may have changed his books. I think he has more books now. So I have the first one that he had written.
Looks like he has a couple of new products, but if you go to Gymnastic Bodies, there's...
There you go. Sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, there you go. So here's the Building the Gymnastics Body book that we have. That's really helped us out quite a bit. Again, it's very straightforward. Gives you some awesome progressions for a lot of the more advanced gymnastics movements, but you'll probably end up only doing the first or second progression for leading up to some of those harder movements. But you can use a lot of that in your regular CrossFit classes if you're a coach or if you're just an athlete that wants to learn more about gymnastics.
I like the gymnastic strength stuff. Instead of doing like 60 kipping pull-ups, I gotta do like some pull-up progressions and lever progressions and stuff like that, because it's a lot. My shoulders feel a shit ton better if I'm doing like gymnastic strength work versus just a fuckload of kipping pull-ups or something.
How much is a fuckload?
At least 120.
Okay.
What was it? Fuck shit ton?
Fuck shit ton.
Someone's asking about how many Metcons per week. Sorry, I lost. Hold on. Someone said how many Metcons per week can they expect to do in the 6-month muscle gain program? Right now we do 4 Metcons per week in that program. I think that was what they asked.
Yeah.
We do 4 Metcons per week in that program. We're training 5 days a week, and then we Metcon 4 days a week. So for the most part, Monday, Tuesday, there's heavy training, strength training, and a Metcon. Wednesday is off, and usually there's some type of nutrition homework and educational type videos. The Facts and Foods Nutrition course is a big part of that. And then Thursday, usually it's strength training only with no conditioning. Friday, Saturday, or just like Monday and Tuesday, there's strength and conditioning. And then Sunday, again, is usually off. Where there's some type of mobility or nutrition or some type of homework that's easier on your body than the training days. But there's something for you to do all 7 days of the week. 5 days training, 2 days off, 1 day of training is just strength without doing any conditioning. So 4 days a week for conditioning to answer your question.
Long story short.
Long story short.
You're getting value, Doug.
That's right. That's right. All right, next question. Let's see. Sorry, give us just a second here.
You know your phone. You can go ahead and read that one. Doug's a good reader.
I know, right?
Stuff.
We got long questions here.
He's better at reading than you are at writing books.
That's all right.
I'm not good at anything. I tell you what I am good at, sitting around and thinking.
All right, so Fabian asks, he said that he was about 5'5", 173 pounds when he started CrossFit. He was about 163 pounds, so 10 pounds smaller. He's seen some good gains in strength and positive changes in his body composition. after CrossFitting for 3 months and listening to the show, he realizes that he needs to build a very strong strength base. How long should he be focusing on strength? 1 year, 2 year, or 1 year, 2 years, or 3 years?
I would start with 6 months. The 6-month muscle gain challenge.
He's already in the 6-month muscle gain challenge.
You're doing a good job.
So really the answer is you're never really not going to be focusing on strength. It's a rare person that ends up being too strong who wasn't born pretty damn strong. So in your case, as a person who is a smaller CrossFit athlete, you're 5'5", 170 pounds, you're probably not going to get to the point ever where you're like, well, I can deadlift 650. I probably don't need to worry about my deadlift strength.
It's a very rare problem.
Yeah, it's a very rare problem, absolutely. So it tends to be that the best CrossFit athletes right now, the most competitive guys, are freaky strong, and then they add some conditioning onto their freaky strength. No one comes out of the endurance world, they don't come out of running marathons for 10 years and their endurance is insane, and then they strength train for 3 months, and now they're a world-class CrossFitter. But people do come out of powerlifting, strongman, and Olympic weightlifting, and then they add some conditioning for 6 months, and they are in football now too, yeah. And they are monsters in CrossFit because they're already strong. Strength should be your focus.
It's an enduring adaptation.
Yeah, I mean, strength takes a long time to get. Endurance, it doesn't take as long to get. A big part of endurance is just grinding it out. If you have high pain tolerance, then you can keep going in a lot of cases. And that's kind of insulting to endurance athletes.
Insult them. They deserve to be insulted.
Right? Every sport is hard when you're getting up to the highest level, and they work damn hard. They really do. But they're not going to be world-class CrossFitters in a couple months. The guys who come in freaky strong, they can be world-class CrossFitters in 6 months or a year.
Yeah,
so keep focusing on strength forever is the point.
You take that Kendrick Ferris, and he gets bored of weightlifting. He goes, I'll train for a year for CrossFit, see what I can do. It's probably going to be a really interesting experiment.
He could.
Yeah.
He could train for a year and come in and be a games athlete.
He could probably go on the NFL and done anything he wanted. He was that athletic, but yeah, never think that, I'm strong enough now.
All right.
Just one more thing.
Yeah.
It's going to be multiple year commitment. It's going to be the rest of your life. You're going to be working on strength.
Right.
And doing other things.
Yeah, the athletes I've seen that are competing at the regional level, even if they weren't doing CrossFit beforehand, whether they've been doing CrossFit for years or not, there was at least a 2 or 3 year period where they were very focused on strength.
Fabian says, "I'm in it, Mike." You jerk.
Lots of names to remember.
I didn't even look at the name. I just saw the question, and then I saw the name afterwards.
Okay.
Nice cover.
Yeah, you covered well. Okay, tips for training.
I'm illiterate.
Tips for training by yourself at home when you don't have access to CrossFit coaches. Well, if you're by yourself and you don't have any coach or any equipment, obviously, we're a resource that you could use for technique. Technique Wad is there for that exact reason, so you can get better and work on your technique and learn while you're at home if you don't have access to a coach. As far as equipment goes, obviously, if you don't have a gym or kettlebells or barbells, you're pretty much stuck with bodyweight movements. So if you want to get stronger, then you're basically, to reference this gymnastics book again, gymnastics is fantastic because you can get shitty strong with only bodyweight movements. If you're doing one-arm push-ups and pistols and handstand push-ups and you're working on planches and all these crazy things that gymnasts do, you can get very strong without having any equipment whatsoever. So I would focus on getting better gymnastics. Go buy that Gymnastics Bodies book. Reference that website. Go to beastskills.com and check out some of the stuff that guy has. Beast Skills is,
by the way,
cool website.
right now the only training I'm doing right now is gymnastics. I have an injured hamstring. I really can't do any lower body. Just last week I started doing overhead squats with an empty barbell. But the last month or so I have been doing nothing but gymnastics. And really all I need in order to do that is a set of rings. All you need is a set of rings, and then that's all you need.
So here's Beast Skills right. Here's beastskills.com right here. He has cool tutorials on how to do all this stuff. A lot of handstand stuff, a lot of pull stuff. If you got a set of rings, then you're pretty much set. Back levers, front levers, flags. If you know what a flag is.
Yeah, the gymnastic bodies.
Very cool stuff on Beast Skills.
Gymnasticbodies.com. There's a forum and there's a workout of the day that they used to post, but it's archived. It's up. That's a pretty good resource if you want to focus on that. If you guys, a quick question for everybody out there. How many people out there are working out on their own and don't have a CrossFit coach? Can we do like a raise your hand thing or something?
There is I can take a poll.
Yeah, let's do a poll. Sorry, guys. Yeah, never mind.
Manage your poll.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Yeah, just write in the comments. Just right there in the comments say, I train on my own or me or whatever. I'm just curious because I want to know, like, who's listening to us and what you guys might need. Because if you guys need some coaching because you don't have a coach on hand, we might be able to come up with some way where we can analyze movement and program for you guys or something like that. And that's kind of how the 6-month muscle gain challenge kind of came about. And I noticed a lot of guys are submitting videos on that. They're shooting videos in the garage. So
looks like a lot of you guys train on your own with no coach. If we put together like a Facebook group where we could look at your videos and give you critiques. Like we do that for the 6-month muscle gain challenge. Like they get a program and training advice, and then we also look at their technique in the Facebook group and give them advice on what to do to improve their snatches and their cleans and their squats and whatnot. If we had that as a separate service where it was just a Facebook group and you paid a certain amount of money every month to be in that group to ask us questions and send us videos, and we were in there on a daily basis to help you out, would that be something that you guys would want? Okay, we got a lot of people saying yeah. Yeah, okay. Well,
Doug saw 5 and he said it was a lot, but whatever.
It came in right away. Okay, well, we'll talk that over. That might be something we can put together here in the very near future.
Make it pretty.
As somebody who trains...
Garrett was saying, the same guy that asked that original question about training at home, he said, what about learning highly technical movements like snatch and clean and jerk? Again, that's exactly why we do all the technique WODs and whatnot, especially... like when I first started Technique WOD, I did a lot of stuff on the progressions for snatches and cleans. So if you haven't seen the very first Technique WODs from a long time ago, the video and the audio quality isn't quite as good. We didn't have quite the production value that we do now, but the progressions and the advice and the technique is unchanged. So we might have a few style differences that have changed since I recorded those original videos, but the basics are still the basics, and they'll still get you a long way. Also, like I said, we have that new Zach Rich product coming out where all it is teaching the snatch and clean and jerk. So in that training program or in that product, you see a lot of video of our athletes trying the movements, and Zach is over there critiquing them, and so you can see, I made that mistake, and that's how you fix it, and I do that just like that guy does, and here's how Zach fixed it. So that's something we don't do in Technique WOD very often, but it is something that Zach does in that product. So that's a point of differentiation that might help.
Yeah, so if you do that, you film yourself doing the lifts, you try to spot what you can spot. If you can have somebody that posts those videos full and they can review, you're getting about as close as you can get to optimal given that situation.
So Garrett, you're wanting to mix, just real quick, Garrett, you're wanting to mix gymnastics with barbell work, but it sounds like you don't want to do the high intensity of CrossFit. Is that true? If that's true, then you're just like me. Don't be ashamed.
Yes.
Okay, yes for now. Yeah, okay. I wonder if there's even a program out there like that. I mean, it sounds like, that's kind of like what I do for myself right now, but I don't blog. I don't do a lot of barbell work right now just because because of my injury. But like when I am doing weightlifting, I do like to do a mix of gymnastics in there as well.
You treat your gymnastic stuff basically as like your assistant exercise. So you do the lifts and then a second portion of the workout devoted to
because my sport being weightlifting, I treat the gymnastics stuff as assistance work.
Yeah.
But I think there is an opportunity to have a nice even. I mean, if someone were to come along and program nice even programming, I mean, it's something I could do, but I don't know if I want to do it.
I think they work very well together, because if you look at,
I don't know how many people are looking for that, is what I mean.
Yeah, the training like the Chinese weightlifting team does. They do things like they'll do other lifts, and on a day off or after the lifts.
Nah, Ian, your name's already next to it.
Yeah. So they'll do things like handstand holds for time, even with weights, like tie a 25 kilo plate around your waist, get into a handstand position against the wall and hold it. They'll set a timer for like 20 to 30 minutes. You just have to sit there, which is ungodly hard, but that kind of stuff can be very effective to help the lifts.
Yeah. Well, most of the gymnastic stuff I choose are things that are going to be better for my weightlifting. I don't do things.
So what do you do?
I don't do a lot of gymnastic stuff that are just going to make me better at gymnastics. I do things like wall runs in order to improve my shoulder stability.
Yes, that's way better than doing like dumbbell raises for your shoulders. It's much more applicable to using your
body. It's a functional movement versus trying to mimic something with a dumbbell. You're having to stabilize your whole fucking body.
Yeah, that smokes your arms pretty good.
Shoulders feel differently doing that than anything else. Yeah. Well, let's get back to questions.
Jack says, you guys are the best. Love the podcast. Thanks, Jack.
That was the best question I heard all night.
Let's see. I'm a couple of months new to CrossFit. Same for paleo. Pretty small dude and want to get stronger. Is paleo not a good choice for me? We've had quite a few episodes on Barbell Shrugged talking about that exact same thing. So for the most part, to sum it all up, we say that modified paleo is pretty much the best way to go. And that means that 90% of the time you're probably eating paleo, but around your workout, it's okay to eat some denser sources of carbohydrates. It's okay to have a workout drink that has sugar in it, sugar and some type of protein powder. And then after your workout, it's okay to eat some paleo-friendly, denser sources of carbohydrates like rice and sweet potatoes. That'll give you a good growth response. It'll help you build muscle mass. And it's just an easy way to add calories to a paleo diet that, people eat paleo because they don't want to be fat and sick, and it's naturally lower in calories. But if you're trying to get big and strong, then those are different goals. So it's good to add some calories, specifically carbohydrates, during and following your workout. So modified paleo is what I call that.
I think that as long as you should be shooting to get a gram for every pound of body weight in protein. So if you weigh 200 pounds and you're getting 200 grams of protein a day and you're eating 10 servings of vegetables a day, that's the size of your fist, right? So if I'm eating 10 servings of vegetables and I'm getting 200 grams of protein a day, then if you want to add other stuff on top of that and it doesn't upset your stomach, go for it. Especially if you're a smaller guy and you probably need to gain some weight or you want to gain some weight, that's the way to go about it. If you want to lean out, just eat that protein, eat those vegetables, and leave out all those starchy stuff. But yeah, like Doug said, trying to add all the extra carbs around your training sessions.
I just saw a question about tequila.
Yeah, that was Derek from Germany.
Yeah, sipping tequila. For my margaritas, I think I love using Hornitos. And then for drinking and for drinks, buying very fancy aged tequilas is great if you can afford it. I think it's an Espolon tequila it's got little skulls around it. The bottle's very cool. I have shot it and I have sipped it and made drinks with it. I think it's the most balanced, high-value tequila you can
Which
get.
one is that?
Espolon.
Okay.
Let's see, the 5 ways to adjust the paleo diet for high-volume CrossFit training is probably a good episode to watch. That's episode...
Back to the previous question.
You're right.
Back to the tequila we were sipping on in episode 62 with Travis. That's something.
Hey.
You ready that tequila?
Oh, the computer's gonna crash! No! This might be over.
What this guy over?
So
I'm gonna phone a PC.
Didn't even play video.
What do you know the tequila you were drinking?
Anyway, I couldn't see what episode it was, but go find that one.
What was the name of the tequila? You're leaving it. I'm curious. Your answer too.
What was the name of the tequila that Travis
Is the connection better?
he had?
Well, Travis is he's sponsored by Tequila Company.
Yeah, he's sponsored by Tequila Company, and when I drank it, it was actually it was the smoothest tequila I've ever tasted.
Yeah, but you don't know the name.
It's on that. All we have to do is go back and watch it.
Episode with Travis.
Episode with Travis Harkey. That's very, very raunchy. So you may not, if you don't watch it with kids. We got some negative feedback on that, but whatever.
Who's playing this out?
See, someone says he's a former minor league baseball strength and conditioning coach and thought that their program was skewed towards not getting someone hurt as opposed to building more explosive athletes. Do you feel most baseball strength and conditioning programs are too risk averse? No, not necessarily. As a strength and conditioning coach for any professional sports team, if you're an NFL coach or professional hockey or baseball, those guys are measured by how often their players keep playing. So how often they stay on the field. They're injury prevention guys. They are not there to make them stronger and more powerful necessarily. So, having those guys do snatches and cleans, that's not in their best interest. They will be the one that gets blamed when the athlete gets hurt. So, for the most part, it's going to be very conservative training, especially in season. They're trying to just keep the strength those guys already have and keep those guys, being the Lamborghini athletes that they already are. Those guys, in a lot of cases, especially with, the baseball players, they were born throwing 100 miles an hour in some cases. And so they're just trying to keep them on the field as much as possible. So I wouldn't say they're too risk averse. They do the things they do for a reason, but in some cases, I think they could make them not quite so risk averse, and they could put some things in there that could help improve their athleticism, especially on their lower body a little more than they do. Not necessarily our CrossFit topic, but fun to talk about. Let's see. Yeah, we got an episode.
Hello! CTP in the place to be. I got Chris and Doug and Michael B. We got a live Q&A. We don't do this every day, so grab a pen and paper and write down what they say.
Sounding way cooler if you're actually in the camera. Jesus Christ.
Camera's right there.
Yeah, that's right.
I was scared. I was like, wow, Mark's going to be bursting in here like a crazy person.
Yeah, right.
What's up, man?
Is there an episode with Mike McGoldrick in the future? Yeah, we're going to be at the Central East Regionals this weekend. Mike's going to be up there with us, so I'd imagine he'll be on the show here in the near future since he just won the South Central Regionals.
Yeah, we gotta make that happen for sure.
Let's see. How many grams of protein, if you weigh 170, should come from protein powder?
170.
I wouldn't say there's any magic number. I'd say for the most part, you're trying to get all your protein from whole food sources. The only protein powder that you really should be taking in is probably at a time when eating food is totally inconvenient, like during your workout. So for a 170-pound person, I'd say probably about 30 grams of protein or so, 30 to 40 maybe. Whatever you take in during your workout, in your workout drink, is probably all the protein powder you really need, unless you're in a situation where it's impossible to get any other whole food. If you're an ER surgeon and the only food that you're going to get is, right when you get to work, and then 12 hours later after surgery, and someone can somehow get you some protein powder that you can slurp through a straw while you happen to walk out and your hands are like this, right? So there's extreme situations, but for the most part, only during your workout drink is pretty much all the protein powder that you need. If you're at home, eat some real food if at all possible.
If you're a competitive athlete or you're a hard gainer, then you might want to. I would shoot for a gram of protein for every pound of body weight, say like 170 grams in whole foods, and then throw powders on top of that. Like I drink a shake in the morning, one after I train, and then one before bed. But those are like additional calories. That's additional grams of protein on top of the already lots of food I already eat, and that's just I'm trying to gain weight right now and stuff like that. So it kind of depends on what your goal is.
You really just up your gymnastic goals.
If you're healthy, if you're just trying to be healthy, then I agree with what Doug said. Like the only protein you should probably be consuming is right after you train, but the powdered protein. But if you're fighting for calories, then it's good to get them in the liquid form for sure.
So
I saw a crazy question. What is your favorite mythical beast?
Whoa.
Mythical.
Yeah.
I'm gonna think about it.
Well, I would say Kraken.
Just wondering if the Muscle Gain Challenge implements a lot of gymnastics movements. I follow a lot of the gymnastics body progressions and enjoy them a lot. For the most part, the Muscle Gain Challenge is it's a weightlifting focused program, so all the strength work is for the most part going to be centered around improving your snatch, clean and jerk, and squat strength. And then the majority of the gymnastics movements are either done in the Metcon or after the Metcon. There might be, like a cash out type thing. After the Metcon, you rest 5 minutes, and then you do 5 minutes total of something. Handstand, wall runs, like Mike was talking about, which is where you're in a handstand and you're kind of shifting from one hand to another while you can see me here. While you're in a handstand, you're going like this and you're touching your shoulders. Just put yourself...
Handstand dancing.
Handstand dancing, that's right. Google handstand, or Google wall run, excuse me. But yeah, there's a lot of gymnastics in that program. We try not to make it overly complicated because a lot of people are doing these workouts in their garage, so the gymnastics movements work really well since they are body weight only. So pistols, handstand push-ups, we do put a lot of muscle-up type work in there. And then lately we've been doing things like L-sits and straddle L-sits, wall runs, cast wall walks, and we're in phase 3 right now, which actually is a gymnastics focused phase. So we're doing a lot more gymnastics now and over the next couple weeks for the currently running program. So the answer is yes, we do a lot of gymnastics in that program.
Question. I'm a new coach making a career move. Would love to hear what you'd like to know when you first started coaching. Is that question about coaching or business? Because I think they're being a coach. Okay.
Jenna, you had a similar question. You were asking about like 3 things that would help if I can find your other question. But while Mike's thinking up an answer for that, the 3 things that really helped me was, aside from the obvious of coaching athletes, which you'll be doing that all day, is constantly watching videos and educating myself. So I watch a lot of videos and I listen to a lot of audio programs. I read a lot of books too, but video really is the biggest thing for me. Whenever I'm eating food or taking a break, I always have some video playing in the background that I'm still constantly learning from, even when I'm kind of taking some downtime. If I'm driving my car, I'm listening to Audible audiobooks on nutrition, especially. It's hard to do technique work when you're driving around, but nutrition is something you can definitely learn about during your commute. And if you're cooking food, you can be listening to an audiobook or a podcast on nutrition at the same time. So kind of maximizing the downtime and the time that you don't have to focus really, really hard. Like when you're cooking a meal, you don't have to focus on the meal so much that you can't also be learning at the same time. So kind of multitasking for me has really helped help me gain knowledge over time. And then number 2 is if you can travel and train with people who are better than you, that is easily the best way to get good very, very quickly. If you have someone who's can serve as a mentor to you, we were talking about Louis Simmons and Chris earlier. The reason Chris is such a phenomenal powerlifter is because he had the best powerlifting coach in the world mentoring him. He'd go all the way up to Columbus, Ohio from Memphis, Tennessee. It's a 10-hour drive just to lift weights
with no money
with these guys. Graduate school with no money. So find some guys that are really good and train with them. They're not there to coach you. Just go be a part of the group if possible. All of our athletes that do the best, they just come train right along next to us. They're not there for a class. They're not getting personal training. They are our training partners, and they get better faster than everybody. So, Mike.
Well, I
answered the whole thing.
I would jump in and say, you may have actually mentioned it, but the best way to get better at coaching will be to log, countless hours coaching, and then on the front end, you're gonna learn all these things. You're gonna try to give the best possible advice to people, and you're gonna try to do the best job because you're a good coach. But you're gonna make plenty of mistakes, and then you're gonna realize you made those mistakes, and then over time, you're gonna just hone that craft more and more and more and more. But the only way you can do it is just by Absolutely. If you're not learning, if you're not doing these things, then you're in the gym coaching people and helping people and learning sort of, in the midst of it, in the thick of it. I think that's the only way you really get better. It's like when you get better at writing, you do it by doing it. You get better at snatching by snatching. Well, coaching, you got to immerse yourself in it and live that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, becoming a better coach is extremely painful. I look back at how I coached years ago, and it was...
You cringe. It's
cringe.
Yeah,
I think it's terrible. I look back on it like, oh my God, what was I doing? But really, experience is the only way. I definitely went out of my way to train with coaches that have got more experience than I do. I still do that. I have to travel in order to do that. We don't live in a town that's, got a lot of highly experienced strength coaches, unfortunately. But get outside your comfort zone, go to places where you're not going to be the best, and get your ass kicked. That's a great way to learn. I mean, the best way I've learned how to be a better weightlifting coach is going and training with coaches who have been doing it longer and who aren't going to be afraid to tell me, to change something.
Preferably communist country coaches.
Right, mostly Russians and Cubans.
That's a joke, but it's really true, actually.
Yeah, I mean, I learned some good stuff from the Cuban coach.
They don't know shit about economies, but they know weightlifting.
That's right. There was another good question. Let's see,
any good nutrition audiobooks?
The vegan question. Let's not skip that one.
Let's see. Let me pull up my Audible account while these guys look for a new question.
Ian, your mom has been a vegan for 6 years, but she wants to go paleo. Should she slowly reincorporate meat into her diet? Probably. I'm not real familiar with introducing vegans back to meat, but I know that Rob Wolf has got a couple podcasts where he talks about doing just that, and a lot of people that have been avoiding meat for a long time aren't producing the right stomach acids and stuff like that, and biles to process the fat. So a lot of times a vegan, when they get first introduced to meat, are going to experience some discomfort and may not shit right. But
I like that technical description.
There's now foods or now sports, they make some, what is it called?
Digestive enzymes.
Digestive enzymes, yeah. So get those digestive enzymes, get those digestive enzymes and take those with your meals. So have her to eat those along with the meat until her body starts producing those enzymes on her own. I know Rob Wolf was a vegan for a while, and anytime he even wants to put on some, starts taking additional calories to gain weight or something like that, he has to take those as well. So those digestive enzymes are good for people that are reintroducing meat to their diet. It's also good for people who are gaining weight and are taking in more calories than the body's used to consuming.
I guess it's like anything else. I mean, you don't want to go, yeah, right, I see the error of my way is going to eat some meat. Let me go eat a rack of ribs. You probably start off with, upping a little bit of fish and like things that you would anticipate being not so harsh. You don't want to start off with a giant steak, and you want to just slowly build up with time.
But
so I mean, a day. Do you think that's the reasonable path?
That'd be the smart way. I know that he said that he started off with a rack of ribs, and it was the best he'd felt in years. So
yeah, but I also think of like episodes of Survivor, the old reality show, where they starve. Let's face what you're doing. You're fucking vegan, and they want a challenge. I go, here, a plate of steak and lobster. And they eat it, and then they show them editing. They shit their brains out for 2 days. Their body's just like, what is this? Yeah, it's like ease into things.
Nutrition audiobooks?
So on the audiobook podcast front, I know one thing that really helped me as far as nutrition and cooking and learning how to cook for myself. This is a nutritional audiobook. It's the TV show Good Eats, which I know Chris happens to love as well. It's semi-entertaining. If you like food science, which I definitely do, then they talk about how to cook, and then also why things work the way they do. Why the sugars work the way they do, which type of fats they're using, and why they're good and why they're bad. And some of it can be a little outdated, but it ran for 12 or 15 or I don't know how many years, but a long time. It's entertaining, and Alton Brown is the shit. So go watch Good Eats. You can find it on YouTube. There's a YouTube channel called Good Eats Complete that has pretty much almost all the seasons, like 12 of them or so. So you can watch it on YouTube whenever you want. Recently I've read or listened to an audio Salt, sugar, and fat, that was all right. Wheat belly was good. A lot of food science in there. Two of my favorites. This doesn't sound like a nutrition book, but it's called What Einstein Kept Under His Hat. And that's a food science. It's very similar to Good Eats. It's a food science, food cooking book.
I wouldn't have guessed the food book.
No, it doesn't sound like a food book, but it's really good and really entertaining.
They're not good at making books, that's for sure.
Yeah, right. The Vegetarian Myth was very, very good, I thought. They slam vegetarians and vegans pretty bad.
Omnivores Dilemma.
Omnivores Dilemma.
That's very good.
All Michael Pollan's books are very good. Omnivores Dilemma is the most long-winded, probably out of all of them.
That's mine. It's still excellent.
Yeah, it's very good. In Defense of Food is kind of like Cliff's Notes on Omnivore's Dilemma, and it's kind of like non-name brand paleo. He basically says that we developed all these food products, and then we started discovering nutrients, and then we started thinking that we knew what all the nutrients were, and we started eating individual nutrients and having deficiencies, and in the end, if you just go back and eat real food, you'll be totally fine. So it's kind of like non-name brand paleo. The In Defense
And by the way,
Food
that's
is
why you
very
don't
good.
want to eat too much protein powder for that exact reason. Because it doesn't have the things that meat has in it.
And a book that everyone should read, it's not a nutrition or training book, How to Win Friends and Influence People. Do it.
That is probably the best book on
Look how
the
good you are at these things.
I know.
I took about half the things in that book and I threw them out the window. And I kept the other half because that's how I am naturally. So.
What would be the best vegetables to juice? I don't care about taste. We just did a daily BS on this not too long ago. But for the most part, what I juice pretty much every day, some type of either collard greens or kale. Always carrots, celery, a beet, bok choy. It's raining.
My top's down.
I don't even have a top on mine.
It was sunny when they came over here, and now it's pouring us down rain for some reason. They both rode in their Jeeps with no top on their Jeep. And now Bledsoe's screaming. So best veggies to juice. Like I said, all those vegetables. Apples work very well. I usually put a little bit of ginger and or turmeric. Both those you only want to use a small, very tiny amount, or they can be a little bit overpowering. Bok choy probably is my most recent favorite because you get a ton of juice out of bok choy. Cabbage also works very well. Let's see, how do you guys balance training with non-competitive, fun type training?
A little wet now. It's all right.
Okay, fixed.
Not really, but whatever.
Let's see, how do you guys balance training with non-competitive fun, like rock climbing and mountain biking and whatnot? Does recover ever present a problem? No, not really. I mean, if I'm doing something, physically active for fun, like rock climbing or mountain biking, it's usually, once or twice a month at the most. So I'd say it doesn't really factor in. I'd say any of those are really more like active recovery anyway in a lot of cases.
Yeah, they're restorative in nature.
Yeah, usually I'm not pushing myself to the limit when I'm doing one of those things. I might do a hard training session and then go do those afterward. So that doesn't ever seem to be a problem for us. See, balancing drinking into your training. Obviously, if you watch the show, we drink on the show, so obviously we drink. We don't drink a ton. We probably drink maybe one day a week, usually on the show. We drink on the show, maybe one or two drinks if we're podcasting at nighttime. Usually we podcast on Sunday mornings when we're not drinking, but if we're out of town, usually it's in the evenings. So we do drink here and there, but usually it's only like one day a week. Usually I train hard on Saturdays, and then usually we all take Sundays off, so we usually drink on Saturday nights, and then Sundays we take off.
I think you don't have to be worried about, when you decide to drink, I think you should drink hard, have a good time, and get all fucked up. And a couple of days during the week, if you're stressed, and if drinking a little bit will help you ease and get better rest and take the load off, then you do it. But you never do anything like this if it begins to take away more than it gives to you. So if you're drinking 3 nights a week and you're waking up late and you're shitty at work and you're not training so good, then you've crossed the threshold. But that's a common sense issue.
Yeah, I think a lot of it has to do with personality too. Some people just don't know how to, do it in moderation.
Yeah, don't be a dick.
Yeah, no. And you gotta know who you are. If you're an asshole, don't do it.
Garrett, you're saying if you are rock climbing 3 times per week, at that point, that's not just recreational activity. I'd say that's like a sport for you, and so you have to program around your sport. So, if I go do MMA 3 days a week, then I consider myself at that time to be an MMA athlete who does strength and conditioning as a supplement for mixed martial arts, and I'm not a CrossFit guy who is doing MMA on the side. So I'd say that put the climbing as the focus and program everything around your climbing. If you're doing Monday, Wednesday, Friday climbing, then maybe you climb in the morning and then you can train that night, or you just train Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, maybe a light day on Sunday. Just train around that programming. I don't know how intense the climbing is for you or what else you're doing. So that's, there's a million different situations that we could go into there, but I would just program around those 3 days.
Awesome. He's tweeting or something.
He's tweeting. Let's see. Jack says, how would you recommend for someone like him who has his brother is overweight and thinks CrossFit isn't for them due to their physical condition? He's intimidated and doesn't think CrossFit is something that he can do. What I would do is I would have that person, for a workout or two, let them work out by themselves where they're not competing against anyone, and just give them a workout they know they can do and be successful. One thing that I like, especially for beginners, I did this with my mom, for example, is I gave her an AMRAP where she didn't have to complete any certain amount of anything. All she has to do is stay alive for 10 minutes, and she did it. Also, I made it where it was a lot of sets with low reps. So if you give someone a workout where it's 3 bodyweight squats, 3 angled push-ups on the rings or onto a desk or something, and 3 angled ring rows, then they can do 3, 3, 3 and take a little breather in between 3, 3, 3. And if they just survive for 10 minutes, then they did it. If you give them that little taste of success and show them that you can scale for theirs in their case, the fact that they're overweight or they're not very strong or whatever, you can scale for their situation, and they have the experience that it's a good workout, it doesn't take very long, and it was fun, then I think you can ease them into it. And then as soon as they're ready, try to put them into someone's fundamentals course where they're doing with other people who are just like them, who aren't super good athletes, who are all learning it together, and then let them graduate fundamentals together. And that's one thing that's worked very well at our facility is people go through the course together, and then they sign up together because at that point they have friends and they're doing it together. They're not all by themselves.
Brilliantly said.
Thank you.
Nothing to add.
And then tell him to quit being such a fucking pussy and train. Come on, man. Wake up, man. You're human. Capture your spirit of what makes you human. Use your body. Let's sit around getting fat all the time.
What is our favorite mythical creature?
I said Kraken's pretty good. Cyclops. Unicorn. Just be Shayna's answer.
You guys have any tips on improving pike or straddle flexibility? So improving your gymnastics positions like pike and straddle. My favorite for improving flexibility for the straddle position, which is where you're sitting with your legs all the way apart, is just to lay on your back, put your heels on the wall in front of you with your butt all the way up against the wall, and then just let your legs fall down to the side, and then you can just hang out in that position, very relaxed, and gravity can do pretty much all the work. For improving the pike position, which is basically very similar to sitting on the ground and with your feet straight out in front of you and trying to reach out and touch your toes. For that one, just for the sake of your back, I like to stretch one leg at a time. So I would lie on my back in a doorway or something, and I would put one heel up. If I'm parallel to the wall, I put one heel up on the wall where one leg is down, one leg is up, and I'm stretching my hamstring again with a fairly neutral spine. At some point, you can start stretching where your low back is round. But initially, if you are not very flexible, you want to get most of the range of motion from your hamstring, and stretching one leg at a time is a better way to do that than just doing the touch your toes type stretching where you're getting a lot of low back flexion. Eventually, that's going to not be very good for your back. So 2 easy methods there. I hope that made sense. I don't have any pictures.
What's the half man, half horse?
like the legs and shit are a horse.
Yeah.
That's a, well, you asked me, I can't remember. That's your answer?
That's my favorite. I don't even know what it's called.
Like Pan, the guy who played the flute was always there.
Yeah.
He was a hot dope boy.
Oh, maybe that's my favorite. I like it.
But you can run around and shit really quick, and you can.
All right, Chris. This guy says, I'm a powerlifter. This is from Anthony. I'm a powerlifter, and my deadlift and squat keep going up every week.
Congratulations.
However, my bench isn't going up at all. How can I fix that?
Well, the first thing would be, if you are really good at squatting and deadlifting, it could be maybe your leverages could be a little less favorable for the bench. I mean, in my experience, it was really hard to kind of make them all move at the same time. Like, I would get my bench going, and my squat would feel good, and my deadlift would shit the bed, and then I'd kind of rotate through. I guess I'd ask your weight. How heavy are you? What weight class are you in?
Anthony, what do you weigh?
By the way, we're never doing Prancer size, Derek. I couldn't even make it to the video.
He's 170. So yeah, so if you have intentions on staying there, then it's going to be really tough. If you're 170 and you want to improve your bench, and I'm assuming you're doing, you're training the bench press, and you're doing work on the exercise itself. You're doing assistance work like dumbbell pressing. Maybe you're doing a little speed work or plyometric push-ups. You're doing a well-reasoned training program. If you're not trying to gain weight, it's going to be a bit of a slow grind if you're a little bit light, especially if you have long arms. The easiest way for you to get your bench moving while probably not compromising your squat and deadlift too much is going to be just a gain. So if you go up to 185, your bench press is going to automatically move because your leverage is going to be far more favorable. So assuming you're training in a well-reasoned way, that's going to be the quickest path. If you're just going to the gym one day a week and you're doing 5-to-5 bench press, that's all you're doing, then adding a bit of variety may help you, especially if you've been doing this for a long time. So if you added in on the second day some plyometric push-ups, some med ball throws, maybe a little touch of speed benching, things that add a little variety, ring push-ups as an assistance exercise, for example, a little variety would help get it moving. But I'd say the easiest thing to do is gain a little weight. If you add 10 pounds, your bench is going to go up quite a bit.
You got to go to 200 pounds, man.
170 pounds is rough to be pressing. There's not a good bench presser in the world who's quite that light. There's some really strong guys. I mean, there's 185-pound guys who are bench pressing 500-pound bench shirt, but you got to be a phenomenal athlete and just naturally really good at pushing it to be able to do that. Maybe have naturally short arms to do that if you're lighter.
Yeah.
It's tough exercise.
Make your arms shorter.
You have a surgical procedure to have your humerus and your radius and ulna shortened.
All right, guys, we're going to do 2 more questions. Could you guys give some general programming advice for older athletes as it pertains to workload, rest, program design, days off, etc.? Right now I'm training about 6 days a week for an hour and a half, and I struggle with the amount of stimulus adaptation versus overdoing it and running myself into the ground. This is a bit of a projection on my end, and this isn't necessarily what you're doing, but what I commonly see is that people make very big swings. They're like, I'm training 3 days a week, and it's not working, so I'm going to go to 10 sessions a week and see if that works. And then that's too much, and so they take a whole week off and they don't train at all the next week. And then they come back, and it's very haphazard. So what I would suggest is, start with, if you're already training 6 days a week and you're overdoing it right now, go to 4 days a week, which isn't, that might be a deload week for 1 week. And then if you feel good, add a 5th day. If you feel good, add that 6th day back on. You can play with how much volume you're doing each day, but you don't need to make big swings. I would make 10 or 20% swings on a week-by-week basis and see how you feel. And then if you're feeling like you're overdoing it, back it off 10%. And that might only mean do the same workout that you did this week, but instead of doing 5 sets, you do 4 sets. It might not be this huge change, but make those little tweaks. If you're logging your workouts, it's easy to make those tweaks. So that's a whole other topic, but logging your workouts really does let you know actually what you did rather than what you emotionally are projecting that you did do.
Is it down to one more question?
You bet, Mark.
I'm really sorry.
The grand finale.
The grand finale question. We got one question. Whose question should we answer?
Oh, man. You're going to pick randomly.
I'm going to let you pick because
pressure. You don't do well with pressure.
That's what I do the best, but I know that I'll just pick my favorite question, the one that I'll ramble on for hours.
It's on you, Doug. Use your judgment.
John got up there first and said his. I was scrolling through to see if he put a question. Is he writing a new one? Pick me.
All right, it's you.
All right, go for it.
What's your question?
It might be in here somewhere. We're scrolling through quite a few questions here.
That was a military athlete question.
Maybe he just said pick me. He doesn't have a question ready here. I don't see it, bro.
Yeah, is there an episode of McGoldrick in the future?
Yes.
I already answered that.
Well, I was probably outside.
You're wasting everybody's time.
Why don't you have more ladies? That's the kind of thing. Same thing. I wish we had more ladies.
Like on the show or what?
I mean, in general.
Oh,
we should
more
have
ladies
more
in general?
ladies.
Yeah. Oh, this is from a lady. Well, we like ladies, certainly. If it presents itself, we will have more of them.
Jenna, would you like to be on the show? Because if ever are in the same place, we'll do a show.
What's your next tattoo, BSO?
How about, we should on that. What's the next tattoo I should get?
Yeah, I say you make them big and you choose something generic that you care a lot about, not anything specific, and you make it big, bold, full. Stick somewhere everybody can see it.
What should your next tattoo be? Like I said.
This person says,
Sleep.
If I want to be big and good at gymnastics, should I bulk up first, then train the movements, or grind? I'm not 100% sure what that means, but I would say if you're trying to be big and be good at gymnastics...
Is that Trey? He's grinding.
Yeah, forever grinding.
I'm just kidding.
He likes to grind.
What I would say is that if you're trying to be big and be good at gymnastics, then you basically just gotta accept the fact that you're never going to be really, really good at gymnastics if you're going to be big.
You're not going to be great at this shit.
Yeah, it's just kind of the way of the world. If you want to be good at gymnastics, you have to have a freaky strong upper body. It kind of goes without saying. You're going to have to find a balance between how big you want your lower half to be. If you want to be really good at weightlifting, well, you probably won't be really good at gymnastics too unless you're already just a freak. So you can be big upper body and be really good at gymnastics and not train your legs very much at all. But if you want to be a good CrossFitter, it's probably better to be big on your lower half. There's a whole lot of squatting and pulling from the floor. You got to have big legs. And you don't have to be that good at gymnastics. You just need to be able to do muscle-ups and kipping pull-ups, which aren't that advanced as far as gymnastics is concerned.
Or you should try to do gymnastics as you're bulking and then just kind of see what happens.
Yeah, there's really no way to know how you're going to respond to that. You could be just fine putting on a little weight and practicing those movements. It could shit the bed. I guess it depends on how good you are when you start this game.
I'm using gymnastics to put upper body size on right now, but I'm scaling things at an extreme level.
If you're confident going into the game, you'll probably be fine. If you suck before you gain weight, you're going to suck hard when you get bigger. That's just the way of the world.
True that.
Garrett, what do you weigh?
1 million pounds.
Not realistic.
If you're a guy, if you're 165 pounds, I'd put on the 20 pounds. Garrett says, my question, I guess, is should I gain 20 pounds and take the hit on gymnastics movements or slowly gain size as my strength allows? If you're 165 pounds, you got to just put on some weight. You got to just get stronger, even if it's going to kill your gymnastics movements for the time being.
It's not a decision. You got to gain weight.
Get as strong as you can, upper body and lower body, and if you want to be competitive at CrossFit, you got to be closer to 200 pounds.
Yeah. What he's saying is not concerned about CrossFit. What's your goal?
Just being awesome.
Be good. He just wants to be good at everything. But not CrossFit.
You guys trying to get laid, man. What are you talking about?
Oh, you want to be good at gymnastics? Well, then don't do anything with a barbell. Do nothing but gymnastics.
I don't give a shit about getting bigger.
Yeah, if your goal is gymnastics, then what I would do is I would focus on gymnastics, and then as far as your lower body goes, I would do mostly cleans and snatches. Okay, I wouldn't squat a whole lot necessarily.
No eccentric load.
Cleans and snatches, especially power cleans and power snatches, they're not going to make you grow, but they will help you get stronger and more explosive. Okay, they're not going to make your legs that much bigger though. So that's how you can find a balance where you can work on both, but you're not going to have a bigger lower body necessarily. You can make all of your muscular size and strength gains, or not strength, but muscular size gains on your upper body.
Yeah, you won't look like a paraplegic.
Here's the thing. I know what Garrett wants. Garrett wants the beach body.
I thought you
at the beach. I know what this is.
I thought you were going to rip your shirt off.
Garrett wants a beach body. I'm going to inform you of something. Chicks do like arms and pecs and abs and all that stuff, but you know what they like even more? A nice ass. Yeah. They will take ass over abs every day.
That's what
I know. I've had both.
On a guy?
Mike does curls, Garrett. He's not making fun of you. All right, guys, we're gonna shut it down. Thank you for coming and asking us questions. We had a good time answering them. We'll probably do some more of this in the very near future. So everyone take care. Thanks for watching the show. Y'all are great.
Post to Facebook. We'll answer some more later.
Yeah. See y'all.
Cheers.